Welcome to the Smite pregame show, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gandhi, joined by Mr. Adonis. There's the lights, that dramatic effect.
I can see you now.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? Mr. F. Dot is actually marrying someone today.
Yeah, he's not just going to a wedding.
Yeah, no.
He is actually like, dearly beloveds, we gather here today to marry Scott Gandhi to unnamed person on the left. I didn't know who to go with. With Brandon? Brandon or Bart?
I'll take Hindu.
Hindu, man. Okay,
I'll take the Hindu. Anyways, guys, we have some exciting matches up today, but before we get into that, we're going to hop into the schedule, show you guys what all will be happening this week. As you can tell here, Thursday night games, it's Titan versus Trig Esports, Cloud9 versus Team Solo Mid. You can't make this stuff up. This is amazing.
This entire week is a monstrous week, and it's going to be a huge determining factor. Today, though, for sure the biggest games. Then we have some great games Saturday and some really good games Sunday as well.
Yeah, well, it's time to hop into the European standings here so we can see just how important these matches are. As you can see here, Titan at the very top have yet to drop a single game, whereas Trig Esports, well, they're second to the last here. They are 2-4.
There's multiple teams tied for 2 and 4, so these teams picking up wins are really going to propel them to that top 3, top 4 slot that it's going to be pretty critical to avoid relegations at the end of the split.
It's safe to say at this point that if Trig Esports don't win today, if they come up with no wins, it's almost curtains for them.
No, they're going to need a monster. They cannot get 0-2. If they get 0-2,
it's done.
Their split is done. There's no way they're getting to the top 3, and it's very unlikely that they even finish in the middle of the pack. They'll probably be looking at the bottom 3.
Well, since we started this off, let's go ahead and talk about this matchup here. Trig Esports versus Team Titan. Who do you want to start with, Kevin?
Let's take a look at Trig Esports first, and they've had a rough summer split.
To say the least.
They looked okay in some games, and they've looked bad. They traded out with Epsilon, a new top team here in the summer split, and Zalia has been playing fantastically. He's going to be matching up against Ataraxia, the newly lane-swapped solo laner.
Yeah, this is one of the matchups we're going to be keen in on the entire time throughout this pregame show, as well as during the cast. But really, Trig Esports, to me, it seems like they just do such a good job at just adjusting to their opposition, right? Game 1, they always lose it. For whatever reason. They just lose Game 1, and then they adapt really well in Game 2. It's, okay, show me what cards you got. Okay, yeah, all right. And then next time I'll figure it out, and then I'll beat you.
And the one time that I was in reverse was when they actually lost to Stars, and it seemed that was the game they played Poseidon ADC. So that's the game they switched it up, not really adjusting for the opponent, but trying something new, and it doesn't work. Like you said, they're really good at adapting, but coming in on the entry, they seem a little bit weaker.
So now, since we've kind of gone into this double hunter meta, does this affect Zalia since he doesn't play hunters really at all that we've seen?
I don't think it affects Zalia too much since you can have mid laners played as well. I think it affects Ataraxia phenomenally. Now that he was a hunter player. Now that he's in the solo, and now that he can play Apollo and Neath, he could play the gods he's been playing for the past year comfortably in that lane and dominate with them as well.
Well, with that said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Titan Esports here. And we will go ahead and see that, well, you know, the lane swap was probably the best decision they made. They had a very disappointing summer split. Very disappointing. They were unable, or spring split, excuse me. They were unable to make the spring finals, and ever since they decided to switch Comfrey and Ataraxia, which you'll hear us bring up all the time because it's that important.
I mean, lane swapping after you've been in a role for over a year, it takes a while to transition. Probably the most famous, or the first major lane swap we've ever had, it wasn't a lane swap. It was Pain Devion was a hunter for a year and a half, dominated with denial. Then he moves to support. It took him almost a year to get back to the top. Now he's playing with Legion of Carrots in the SPL. But it takes a long time to get to that comfortable spot.
So now with that said, do you think Comfrey's made a good adjustment into the hunter role? Have you seen anything where you're like, oh, well, I don't know if he's ready for, you know, maybe the premier teams?
I think most importantly is that his teamfight presence is the same as other hunters. He's there when he needs to be. He's hitting the auto attacks he wants. His laning phase is a little bit weak, but that's really to be expected coming in. But the laning phase early on doesn't really matter too much. It's very passive in the hunter laning phase for the most part. So having a bad laning phase isn't the worst thing you can do.
All right, so really for me here, I think we look at it one thing here, and that's Zalia versus Ataraxia. I think this matchup will kind of determine really the outcome of the game. And now, since this meta kind of favors Ataraxia, and by kind of I mean it does, what does Zalia have to do to come out on top?
Zalia, I think, is still going to stick with his standard god pool of melee gods. Yeah. He's going to be playing the Bakasuras, the Tiers, the Warriors, the front lines, maybe a Nemesis.
Sobek.
Sobek. Oh, he does play. I
love me
He
some
came
Zelia
out with-
back.
Yep, he's playing out.
Yeah.
He's playing the Sobek now as well. I think he's going to have a rough time in this lane. I think Ataraxia is going to look to farm it out. I really think they're going to prioritize those hunters, which they have so far, and to much success. And I think if Titan does prioritize that, there's not much Zelia can do. I don't think he can make it to the late game to make the same impact he normally does.
All right, guys. Well, keep in mind here, the season ticket for 300 gems. You are able to unlock these fantastic skins by just playing with the banner or by picking the matches correctly every single week of the SPL.
And it's not the easiest, but let's take a look at where people are. I think I closed the
where
gap.
are you?
I think I
Have you
closed the gap a little bit.
Oh my God! Look
I picked right for a big majority of the time last week.
Look at that, dude.
Still bottom, but
I'm better than you still, which is what's important.
I mean, we're all pretty close. There's no need to just point people out.
You know what really messed me up was the upcoming Stars beating Fnatic.
No one predicted that. No, if we could go back, there's probably like 2% of people picked that,
exactly.
and that's just them like misclicking on.
No,
like,
not
stars.
even just being that guy who's like, okay, well, if I get this right, I'm guaranteed these points.
There you
That's
go.
exactly why I'm doing this. But we're gonna go ahead and take a look and see what the community has picked for tonight's matchups here, and it's Trig Esports.
That's a little bit surprising to me.
Very.
You look, I feel like Titan is a more static team. Like they're a big esports organization. They have a bigger following. Additionally, Titan's at the top of the leaderboard, but they've got faith in Trig.
Yep. And I went ahead and went 50-50. I had a very hard time making up for this.
You went 50-50.
Hey, last week I did not do the majority of 50-50, so you don't put that evil on me. All right? And everyone else and their sister decided to go Titan.
I'm now adopting Bart's strategy of if you think a team has an edge, you just give them both. Just mathematically,
for sure.
it works.
Yep.
It just works.
Mathematically, it's great. For me, it's just such a close matchup, and I think if Titan wins Game 1, Trig will definitely win Game 2, just because they seem to always just be able to battle back that way.
Yep, but that's the end for Europe. Let's take a look at the North American standings and see where people sit. At the top, it is Cloud9 G2A at 6-0, followed closely by Team Solo Mid.
Yeah, TSM's right there, and then directly behind them is AFK Gaming, who some would say should have a 5-1 record, but Allied, well, he prefers sleep over winning games. And, well, you know, that happens. And Eager right in the middle of the pack at 3-3. They also have a huge week this week as well when they'll be going up against AFK Gaming, which will be a huge matchup. But Cloud9, okay? So this team, you know, they are the Smite World Champion winners. Like, they are the best going into Season 2. But so far in Summer Split, they haven't really played any of the good teams.
They haven't, but I think that really helped get their confidence up moving into this matchup. You take a look at the spring split. They were third, right? They go from champions of the world to third place. This summer split, they've had pretty, I don't want to say weak opponents, but they've had the bottom of the SPL to face off to get their confidence up. I think they're going to look to be rolling into this match versus TSM.
Well, Cloud9, we know a lot about them, and they look absolutely amazing so far. Barracuda has still yet to die.
No deaths?
No deaths,
like
as in 0. Which is the opposite of the members on denial from the stats I saw. But Cloud9 just, you know, they're always consistent. And the one question I have, which should be addressed today, is what their identity is. Because Team Solo Mid, we always know what they do. 2 Guardians, 2 Hunters, and then whatever Gars wants to run. And Cloud9 always just seems to kind of copy that, right? Because they're Scrim Partner.
I think they're playing the same meta they did before, which is a perfect game. It's a team fight-oriented gameplay. And I think right now, Annenster is playing better than he has ever played. He's matching his Season 1 performance, if not better. That's when I said he was the best player in the world. I think if he's not the best player in the world, there's no arguing that he's top 3. Additionally, Barracuda is on point, 0 deaths. And Apollo is back in the meta, which I think is the major point.
Yeah, we'll touch on that after we go ahead and introduce to you guys their opponents, Team Solo Mid. They took second at the spring finals. They find themselves still ever so dominant in the summer split as well. Really, I mean, it's really hard to pick who you want to focus on on this team, but it's like, well, Ionix, an amazing support, and then Divios normally tends to win his lane, if not stalemate his lane, depending on if he goes a Guardian or not. But they add so much, and this team just clicks all together at all times, and it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, like Cloud9 is a team fight-oriented team. I mean, Team Solo Mid is the same thing. They're scrim partners. Yeah. They practice that synergy. They have a lot of ganks and early initiations that catch other teams off guard early on. They're not going to catch Cloud9 off guard, though.
Well, the one thing that's good for TSM is that Boosh is able to play every single god in Smite at a level that's better than everyone else.
Hey, Cyclospin is about the same, too.
Okay, yeah, fair.
But, I mean, he's not in the matchup.
I'm talking about the mid laners.
Okay.
I'm talking
fair
about
enough.
that. Yeah, there's this lane, and then he's in this lane. You know what I mean? I'm talking about this lane right here.
What was it? Did you say it that Boosh just wants to pick gods to outplay his opponent?
Yes. Yeah. When I was talking to Boosh, he goes, the only gods I really want to play are the ones that I can outplay my opponent with. And, well, he has that with Anhur and Ullr.
Additionally, he plays a lot of Poseidon and Kronos. He plays all across. But let's take a look at the community. It's going to be interesting what they say, but it's going to be Cloud9.
Okay.
They're going with world champions.
Wow. I did not see that one coming. But, I mean, Cloud9, they're super, super strong. I'm on the complete opposite side of the fence here. I am sporting my Team Solo Mid prediction. Loud and proud. 2-0. But it is going to be very, very tough. I just think Team Solo Mid, they've had a harder road to get here, and Cloud9 to me just seems a little unproven.
Fair enough. I think Anister and Barracuda are playing better than they've ever played. I'm going to give it to C9. I think they have a slight edge here, and I think they're going to come out with a 2-0. They're not going to be free games, though. There's no way any of these games are going to be stumps. But I think Cloud9 will be winning at the end.
Bart went ahead and went with a 50-50, taking book off of my chest.
Hey, you can't go wrong with a 50-50.
You can't.
You
50-50.
I don't think
you can, though. You can, because
true.
it's so bad to go 50-50. It's so bad. And plus, last week, Bart said he was never going to do 50-50. So I guess we know one thing's for sure. Bart lies.
Wait, you just found this out?
All right, so look. Key things in this matchup here. We talked about it a little bit before. Apollo is back in the middle, right? And Apollo and Barracuda go perfectly together. That is it. Does TSM waste a ban on Apollo, or do they just let Barracuda have it?
They have to waste a ban on Apollo because he's so good with it. Cloud9 is going to be looking to get it early in the first 3 slots. They don't like first picking it because it's not worth first pick to them, but it's going to force a ban in the first phase, and that's going to take away from priority bans. You know how Ionix always like, give me the tree man? If you ban out Ionix Sylvanas, it doesn't really matter because Sylvanas is actually that strong overall, but to waste a ban on Apollo, who's not considered normally that strong, it's important, especially early on.
All right, so now the other matchup we really have to look at here is Gars versus Anninster. Now, Gars and Anninster are basically dead even in the sense of the stat line.
Yes.
Who are you favoring in this one? I'm obviously going Gars.
I think it's close, but I got to give it to Anninster. Anninster, I think, is the most skilled mechanical player in Smite right now, and he's been playing more than he ever has. He's now streaming every day. Previously, I don't know if he was just playing and not streaming, but I'm seeing him stream every day.
He's a mechanical god.
Yeah.
I wish he actually had the webcam on his fingers.
Okay.
Like instead of
That's what Xing used to do, but he played like really weird.
Well, yeah, like Xing has like carpal tunnel like coming in hot soon. Like he's like plays behind his back, lefty, southpaw, right? But yeah, that's what I think. I think Anninster, he's got a lot to show in this match.
It's going to be close, but Anninster's going to win. I'm just saying.
All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for the pregame show. Before we send it over to the casters, we have to introduce our special guest, Mr. LaBeouf. Take it away.
Do it! Just do it!